You aren't broke because you're lazy. You're broke because you live inside a financial simulation specifically designed to keep you that way. The scariest part of this reality is that you can walk through your entire life without ever actually seeing the prison bars. Most people think they make free choices, but they are actually trapped in an invisible cage constructed around them since childhood. The bars are forged from monthly payments, subscriptions, and that constant whisper convincing you to buy things you can't actually afford. My name is Marcus, and I spent a decade as a data strategist analyzing exactly how to separate you from your money. I know how the machine works because I helped build it, and that gap in knowledge is where the American dream dies. Here is a statistic that will freeze you. The average American will earn over $2 million throughout their entire lifetime. Think about that massive river of money flowing through your hands, yet somehow, most people retire with almost nothing left. So where did the money go? It didn't vanish into thin air, and it certainly didn't go to life's necessities. It evaporated through tiny holes the system drilled into your pocket, leaks that nobody ever taught you how to see. The first trap is the most brilliant magic trick in economics because it exploits a fundamental glitch in your brain's operating system. You walk into a store thinking you are buying a product, but in reality, you are only purchasing a monthly payment. Think about the car dealership experience. Nobody asks, "What does this cost?" anymore because that financial question is now completely extinct. Instead, the salesperson hits you with the most dangerous question in finance. What monthly payment fits into your current budget? That is not a polite question. That is a calculated trap designed to bypass your brain's ability to assess real value. When you see a $400 payment, your brain doesn't calculate interest or multiply that number by 84 long months. Your brain simply compares that number against your monthly paycheck and whispers, "Yeah, I can definitely swing that right now." Meanwhile, you just agreed to pay $40,000 for a car that will be worth $12,000 when you finish paying. Here is the secret. Dealerships aren't in the business of selling cars. They are in the business of selling you debt. The vehicle is just the shiny metal bait on the hook used to get you to sign the high-interest loan papers. And right when the new car smell fades, you trade it in, rolling your debt forward and extending your prison sentence. You never actually own anything. You are simply renting your lifestyle from the bank at a premium markup for your entire life. The second trap is insidious because it doesn't feel like a trap at all. It feels exactly like progress. It is called lifestyle inflation, and if you are listening to this right now, it has probably already caught you. Here is the scenario. You grind hard, get that promotion, and suddenly an extra $15,000 hits your bank account. That is life-changing capital that could be funneled into assets, stocks, or a down payment on your future freedom. But watch what happens within 90 days like clockwork. Your spending mysteriously rises to match your new income perfectly. Suddenly, your functional apartment feels cramped, you stop cooking, and that sensible Honda Civic starts looking embarrassing in the parking lot. You justify the BMW by saying, "I work hard, I deserve this," but that entitlement is the lock on your cell door. You aren't actually getting ahead. You are simply running much faster on a significantly more expensive treadmill. We do this because humans are hardwired to compare ourselves to the tribe immediately surrounding us, not where we came from. The moment you hit $50,000, you stop looking down. You start looking up at the guy making 75. I watched a colleague jump his salary by 30 grand, yet within 6 months, his savings rate was still exactly 0. The prison got nicer with softer sheets and better amenities, but he was still living paycheck to paycheck. The system is designed to make you feel broke at every level because it is a ladder with absolutely no top. I know executives making $300,000 a year who lose sleep because they inflated their lifestyle to the absolute limit. The goalpost moves every time you get close, creating a hungry, dissatisfied worker who is too terrified to ever quit. Now let's talk about the third trap, the one that genuinely makes me angry because, unlike the others, it is completely unnecessary. I call this the ignorance tax, a premium you pay every day simply for not understanding the hidden rules of the money game. Trust me when I say the banks are literally banking on the fact that you will never read the fine print. You are being slowly drained by $12 maintenance fees just because you didn't keep a minimum balance in your checking account. You get hit with $35 overdraft charges just because you lost track of a single pending transaction for one day. But the absolute killer is consumer debt interest, with the average American credit card now hovering around 25% APR. When you carry a balance, you are voluntarily paying a 25% tax on your own future freedom every single month. You are handing your hard-earned cash to a bank executive's bonus pool instead of letting that money compound for your own retirement. Over a 40-year working life, if you had invested that wasted interest money, this tax would cost you over $100,000. That is an entire house vaporized because nobody taught you financial literacy in school, which is a feature of the system, not a bug. But here is what makes this truly brutal and where the system shows its teeth. Being poor is actually incredibly expensive. If you have $50,000 in your account, the bank treats you like royalty and waives every single fee. But if you are living paycheck to paycheck, they charge you a fee just for the privilege of letting them hold your money. The system is rigged to punish you for struggling, keeping you in a hole that gets deeper every time you try to climb out. Here is the sinister twist. These financial traps don't operate in isolation. They function together as a coordinated, synchronous attack on your net worth. The monthly payments choke off your cash flow, lifestyle inflation ensures you never build a safety net, and the ignorance tax drains whatever scraps are left. And the twisted reality is that the system needs you trapped because the entire U.S. economy is built fundamentally on your continuous consumer spending. If everyone woke up tomorrow and decided to save 20% of their income, retail would collapse, and we would enter a recession by Friday. Therefore, corporations built a massive technological infrastructure designed to extract cash from your wallet before your conscious brain even realizes it's gone. When I worked inside data strategy, we had a specific technical term for this extraction process. Our goal was always reducing friction. Our objective was to psychologically separate the immediate dopamine pleasure of buying something new from the visceral pain of actually paying for it. Think about Uber, Amazon Buy Now, or Apple Pay. They engineered the friction right out of the transaction so spending feels completely free. Then they weaponized your own brain chemistry against you. Look at food delivery apps that haven't just made eating convenient, they have gamified hunger. They hit you with push notifications precisely when your blood sugar drops, turning ordering an overpriced cold hamburger into a necessary dopamine hit. Or look at the subscription model where you suddenly need 6 streaming services, cloud storage, and premium apps just to function in modern society. Individually, they seem like harmless coffee money, but collectively, they are a leech, slowly bleeding you out financially at $9.99 a pop. This is what we call death by 1,000 cuts. Because each individual incision is so microscopic, you never even think to reach for a bandage. You aren't fighting bad habits. You are in a cage match against supercomputers and teams of PhD psychologists optimizing exactly how to extract your credit card. Even if you somehow survive the marketing and the debt traps, you eventually run straight into the final boss of this simulation. It isn't the complex mathematics that stops you from escaping. The math is easy, but the crushing social isolation is not. Here is the brutal truth. In our modern culture, opting out of the consumer spending cycle immediately marks you as a social outcast. If you drive a 10-year-old Toyota while your friends lease brand new Teslas, you instantly become the topic of their concerned whispers. They don't see your discipline. They think you are struggling or cheap because we have built our entire web of relationships around consumption. Think about it carefully. The phrase, "let's hang out," has almost exclusively translated into, "let's go spend $50 together somewhere." Even simple hobbies that used to be completely free have been monetized into expensive gear measuring contests to prove your status. Try suggesting a walk in the park instead of a $100 dinner, and just watch how quickly the confusion washes over their faces. See exactly how long it takes before the invites stop coming, creating a psychological trap inside the financial trap you are fighting. You desperately want to escape the monthly payment cycle, but you are terrified that doing so might cost you your entire social circle. You have to sit quietly and watch your peers upgrade their lives on Instagram while you stay put, appearing stagnant to the outside world. You must be willing to look like a complete loser in the short term so you can be an absolute winner in the long term. Most people simply cannot handle that massive hit to their ego, so they choose to stay stuck in the matrix forever. They work harder every year to maintain a lifestyle they can't afford, just to impress people they don't even actually like. The truly maddening part is that the moment you finally manage to save some money, you run headfirst into a wall of absolute confusion. You decide to get serious and research investing online, but within 10 minutes you are drowning in a sea of contradictory financial jargon. You are bombarded by stocks, bonds, crypto, real estate, and NFTs until your brain short-circuits from the sheer volume of choices available. Every YouTube guru screams different advice. One says buy gold immediately while the next guy claims gold is trash and you need Bitcoin. The options multiply faster than you can learn them, so you freeze like a deer in the headlights and do absolutely nothing. You spend 6 months researching the perfect strategy, terrified of making a mistake, while your money sits in a low-interest bank account dying slowly. Meanwhile, people half as smart as you are building real wealth simply because they bought a boring index fund and went back to work. The great irony is that your desire for perfect knowledge has become the enemy of good action, causing you to miss the market entirely. This complexity is not accidental. The financial industry loves it because if investing is simple, you realize you don't actually need them. They design the system to make you feel stupid so you remain paralyzed or pay them high fees to manage your money for you. So what is the answer, and what are you supposed to do now that you know the entire financial game is rigged? You could escape to the woods and live off berries, but scurvy isn't romantic and you will eventually need antibiotics to survive. Here is the incredibly hard pill you need to swallow right now. There is absolutely no magic bullet that will save you. You must be extremely careful because the internet is currently infested with false prophets desperately trying to sell you a quick fix. Those influencers screaming about crypto signals and drop shipping are usually making money selling courses, not by actually doing what they teach. They are just another predatory trap within the system, specifically designed to monetize your desperation and keep you poor. The actual path to financial freedom is so incredibly boring, slow, and unsexy that if I put it in the title, nobody would click. It means automating your savings so the money vanishes from your account before you see it, exactly like a mandatory tax. It means driving a used car with a dented bumper until the wheels fall off while your broke friends lease brand new Rovers. It means forcing yourself to cook dinner on a Friday night when you are exhausted instead of opening a delivery app. It means treating credit card debt like it is radioactive toxic waste that you absolutely refuse to touch under any circumstances. These aren't secrets, but nobody does them because they require you to painfully sacrifice your present happiness for your future freedom. The system has successfully made true financial security completely incompatible with the modern, consumerist definition of having fun. You face a brutal trade-off. You can look rich right now or you can be free later, but you cannot do both. The winners are willing to look like losers for a decade so they can live like kings for the rest of their lives. Escaping isn't about being smart. It is about having the stomach to be boring while everyone else is pretending to be rich. So why did I just spend the last 10 minutes depressing you with the cold reality of this financial simulation? I told you all of this because it is impossible to escape a prison if you don't even know you are inside one. Will knowing this information make you a billionaire? Probably not, because the odds are simply stacked too high against you. But awareness might make you less poor, and it might give you enough breathing room to actually make choices. It might allow you to finally retire while you still have knees that work and a back that doesn't hurt constantly. The real goal isn't a yacht or a private jet. Those are just marketing lies designed to make you feel inadequate. The true goal is having options, like the ability to quit a toxic job without panicking about your next meal. It is the ability to sleep soundly at night without constantly calculating compound interest rates inside your head. It is the freedom to look the world in the eye and say no when it tries to force you to say yes. Maybe you will do everything right and still struggle because that is simply how the math works for most people. But at least you will know why, and you won't spend your life beating yourself up for a rigged game. You won't blame yourself for a failure that was engineered by a system before you were even born. The invisible prison is still a prison, and the system will try to extract value from you until you die. But seeing the bars and recognizing the trap for what it is, that is the first step to finding the gaps. My name is Marcus. Do not let them monetize your life, and thank you for watching this video.